y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne, and I will give a few minutes to see if anybody pops on here. It is Monday afternoon, about almost 3 o'clock, and usually nobody is home at this time. But I have to come on when I can come on. Otherwise, I'll never get on. And normally I come on at 10 o'clock at night, and I hope to maybe come on tonight. We'll see. It depends on how busy I am. And that's Eastern Standard Time. But during the daytime, I usually come on, if I'm going to come on, somewhere between 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. And yesterday or the day before, I think it was like 4:30. So I came on late. And the one day I came on at 1:30. But my normal time, if I'm going to come on, is somewhere between 2 and 4 p.m. And those hours, just tend to work best for me. And so I just got in. I went out for my 5 mile run. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day today. Absolutely beautiful. Welcome, Heaven Sent, my friend. Welcome. You are the first in today. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And how are you doing, Heaven Sent? And my friend Dory is here. Um, oh, yeah, Dory, thank you for coming. Thank you. Let me give you a blue wrench too. Joy, like I was saying, I never know when I'm going to come on in the afternoon. It's somewhere between 2 and 4, but it might be 2, it might be 4. Sometimes it's as late as 4:30. Sometimes it's as early as 1:30. But it's kind of like whenever I can, whenever I'm home and I'm not real busy or as busy. Um, Thank you, Heaven Sent. I'm doing fine. I just got in from that 5 mile run out on the beautiful, beautiful day. And before that, I had to get up a little bit earlier than normal so that we could go off and do some business stuff. We had a lot of business work to do today. And then I thought, well, you know what? Before I start my videos, because, I do my content, um, I thought, well, I'll pop on, do a short live, say hello, connect, because I love to connect in real time as well as through my videos. I'm a content provider who does live streaming. I'm not a live streamer who does content providing. So, but I do come on a lot, more probably than most people come on live stream, because I've been coming on normally. Things have been kind of a little bit interrupted lately, but my normal schedule has been for the last several weeks, twice a day in the afternoon and then at night. But sometimes not always, it depends on what's going on. Like last night, my husband and I, we sat out on our front porch. Hey, Kenneth, thank you, my friend, for being here. You are so wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And how are you doing, Kenneth? How are you doing today? Well, we sat out on the front porch last night. Hey, Vanessa, great to see you. Wonderful, wonderful. Vanessa is in the house. Thank you, for Vanessa, for coming. Thank you so very, very much. So we sat out on the front porch last night for like 3 hours. It was so beautiful last night. And before we knew it, it was midnight. And we were listening to some of our favorite songs. We've been married 30 years. And hey, Davy Crockett, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And so we've been married 30 years. And so we have a lot of music that we've shared throughout those years together. And thank you, Vanessa. I really need that right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so we're kind of going, back over our music that we've shared together through the years, and one of our favorites, we've got a lot of favorites. I don't know if you're familiar with this singer, but he actually did a duo with Tina Turner back in the 90s. And his name is Eros, Eros. He's like an Italian singer. And he was very, very popular, at least when we were living in Europe. And it was one of our favorites. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you. When you have people in your life like Vanessa, like Kenneth, and so many others, when you have people that care, it really is amazing. It really is amazing, especially when you're going through a difficult and challenging time. You kind of find out when you go through difficult, one of the things crisis brings out, hey, Vlad, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. When you go through a crisis, it will bring out two kinds of people. It will bring out the best in people and the worst in people. And you will see who your real friends are. And sometimes you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You'll find out how wonderful, so many wonderful people out there that you never really knew how wonderful they were until then. And other times you will find people that you thought were so wonderful that weren't. So, crisis has a way of weeding out people and weeding out relationships. And you find out a lot during times like that. But most people are wonderful. So I want to say that 9 and 9/10% of people are wonderful. And so, yeah, we were sitting out there. We were listening to Eros and Eros. And if you've never listened, go look up the best of Eros. Now, make sure it's the Italian singer from the 90s. And he did a duo. Look up the song with he and Tina Turner. I can't remember what the name of it was. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. And so that was one, because we were living in Europe. We were traveling all over Europe at that time. We were young, younger. And we went to Italy. And we had a green pickup truck. And it had like a cap on the back so you could sleep in the back. And we ended up in Rome on a Saturday night. And we got there too late to get a hotel. So we ended up parking our green truck, down by the Colosseum, the famous Colosseum, and down near the Vatican. Hey, Super Dave, my buddy. I love your videos, Super Dave. I go to them. You are amazing, Super Dave. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, my friend. I have such great channels in here. So if you're not connected to each other, please connect each other. You're all great people, all wonderful, wonderful channels and wonderful people. And so we got, so all the way through Italy, we played the music by Eros because it was Italian. It was love music, and it's got a great beat to it. And it is one of our favorite albums together. We love 10,000 Maniacs. That was back in the 90s. That reminds us of our Europe time. Hootie and the Blowfish? We love them. And remember all the early 90s Melissa Etheridge songs. I mean, that takes us back to all those memories. Hey, Ron Darrell Adventures. Thank you for being here. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and when I was living in Poland, Cher. Remember Cher? I believe it was in the early 2000s, very early 99. I think it was 1999, somewhere there. Anyhow, I was living in Poland, and in the big cities, they have tunnels that go. I mean, you don't walk across the streets. You don't walk on the streets. You walk through these tunnels. And they have shops down in the tunnels and everything. And I remember, and it was so cold. It was like zero. Those countries are very cold in the winter. And I had this big uba long, beautiful, yes, Life After Love. Absolutely. Absolutely. We were listening to that last night too. And these are all songs that bring back a flood of memories. And I remember walking in the freezing cold and snow and down into the tunnels, and that music would play. A Cher song that was very popular then. Everywhere you would walk through in the tunnels to get to anywhere, because you had to walk through the tunnels. And I had this big uba coat I bought, UBA in Europe. I bought it in Poland, and it kept me warm that whole time. I mean, I was so bundled up. I have a scarf around me and this big long coat, and I kept hearing Cher play in the background. So we've been listening to a lot of our favorite music, Eros, Hootie and the Blowfish, Matchbox 20. It's all our songs, songs and of course, Jack and Diane. His name is Jack and my name is Dianna Brianne. And, but a lot of people, when the song came out, they said, oh, like Jack and Diane, the song. So that's kind of been our trademark song, is Jack and Diane. So whenever you hear Jack and Diane, think of me. Think of us. Oh, Ron, Ron, let me tell you, and there's a big story to this. My channel should be a lot bigger. And I'm going to tell you, I've been stuck at 16.5 for a month and a half. Okay, it goes drops to 16.4 and then back up to 16.5. Hey, redheaded, welcome, welcome, beautiful friend. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Did you get your workout from the gym? I just got my workout, just got mine. And she's working out every day at the gym. And I love that. I'm so glad that you're doing that, Red, because it's so, so important. And so, yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. I get distracted when I read the chat and then I go back to what I was saying. But um, yeah. I remember you saying that, Red. Yep, that song, Jack and Diane. And so we've been just going through all of our music. And in Grandma's parlor, which is the dining room, which I used to go in there all the time and do videos. I don't so much anymore. That was where I had my Christmas tree. I have a computer set up, but I have it facing our office, which is adjacent to my husband. I shared the front office together. And we have different desks, but we have our front office. And so whenever we walk by, I have our videos playing because I've had 40 years of home videos. And each of those videos have little bits and pieces of, because I used to, like when our kids were growing up, when they were babies, and I had 3 high chairs at the table, I would just set up the video camera and, there I was feeding all 3 kids. So I have all those wonderful memories. And all of our times, like when I was talking about when we traveled through Italy and we were playing Eros the whole time. And it was wonderful. I just love that music. And it was so exciting driving into Rome and going to Venice. We drove into Venice. I mean, we drove and then we had to park. We actually drove. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Thank you so much. We actually Mount St. Michel. That is like a medieval town that sits on a rock that gets surrounded by water like 3 times a day. So you have to park your car away from it, and then they take you to Mount St. Michel. We stayed there. We actually spent the night on Mount St. Michel in a hotel. Very, very, it's just squeezed in and tiny, even more so than Venice. And Mount St. Michel is very famous. So if you haven't ever seen that, look it up on there. Hey, Mylene, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And so, that music just takes us back, takes us back. We're like when we went to England, we were living in Europe. So obviously it's across the ocean, from across the water from the main part of Europe. So we drove to Calais, France. It was like 11 o'clock, midnight. We got to Calais, France. We had a little white BMW at that time. We had a little white BMW convertible, which was mine. And my husband had the green pickup truck. And so, I mean, we'd go like the former Eastern Bloc countries, when after the wall came down. And we would just drive in there with our big green pickup truck. And this is right after the wall came down. People had never seen an American pickup truck before. And they would just stand there and stare at us. They were so nice and so wonderful, but they would stare at us, And but we went to Calais, France. We put our car on the ferry boat because they didn't have the tunnels at that time under the ocean or under the water. And so we went the whole night crossing over to England, and we got off in Dover, England, and then we took our little BMW on the left side of the road. My husband drove. I was so scared. He did a wonderful, amazing job driving all over England. We drove everywhere. We drove everywhere. Later, we were to go to Ireland, and you have to drive on the left side of the road. The left side of the road. So we had our little BMW convertible, and we were driving on beautiful summer days in England. Oh, thank you, Mylene. You are so amazing and so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And so we ended up in, I think it was Czechoslovakia, in our green pickup truck after the wall came down. Okay, so we go there, and they had these old cars, trolley cars that were on electric, but they were really old and they were packed full of people. And there we are, it's getting dark, like say 6:30 at night. I think it was the fall. And we're driving into Czechoslovakia. We're lost, kind of lost. My husband always knew his way, but I didn't know where we were. And we're looking for some place to eat. And they had just built a McDonald's. Well, what we didn't know at the time was when you go to McDonald's, at that time, people looked at McDonald's as a very, very expensive restaurant. So they wore suits and ties and everything to go to McDonald's. People got all dressed up to go to McDonald's. So we go to McDonald's, my husband and I, we're in like shorts and t-shirts or whatever we had on. And we go into the McDonald's in Czechoslovakia, didn't speak the language. They didn't speak English. And so we're just pointing. Well, we ended up, and they said, like, are you sure you want this? And we said, uh-huh. We ended up with, I think, 10 or 15 Happy Meals. Just the two of us, because we didn't have children at the time. 10 or 15 Happy Meals. And all of a sudden, we have all these Happy Meals. And we did not know what to do with the Happy Meals. So we just gave them out to people. We gave them out to whoever came in. We gave them all these Happy Meals, and they were so nice. They treated us so wonderful, and it was the cleanest McDonald's I'd ever been in. They just took pride in everything they did. They took pride in their customer service. They took pride in everything. And it was wonderful, wonderful. And then we drove on to, I think it was Prague, and then someone tried to break into our truck. So, and then when we were in Italy, hey, Passion, wonderful, wonderful. And you did a fantastic job on your live stream last night. I love the music. I love the setup. I love the way you do it. You're amazing. If you don't have passion for art, please connect. And so we went to, so when we were in Italy, that night I told you about that, we backed. So my husband and I went out, on the little scooter, what is it, a Vespa, I think, the little scooters. Well, we have scooters here. We drive all over town on scooters, because we live in a small town. Hey, Massiver, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And so we go on scooter. We have scooters here. So we just bought a brand new one for my son the other day. And it's like a aqua green. And so we all kind of, we have scooters. And when we're on Tybee Island, which we're going here shortly, we drive our scooters all around the island because it's only 2 miles long. So we take the scooter. We don't drive the car on the island because it's only a 2 mile long island by a half mile wide. So either we walk or we take the scooter or we ride our bikes, on the beach. And so we were down in Rome. So my husband had a couple beers and he was sleepy, and we didn't have a hotel. So we decided to sleep in back of the truck. Well, we had been, had a busy day driving down into Italy. So we decided to sleep in back of the truck. Well, in the middle of the night, I hear these guys outside, and we backed in, which was not good. Backed in by the Colosseum of all places, it's all brick. And it wasn't next to the Colosseum, but it was real close to the Colosseum, as close as you could get. And they decided they were going to rob us. Well, I couldn't wake my husband up because he was tired from driving. So I decided I just started speaking in, I think it was German. And I started screaming at them like a crazy woman. And at first they started laughing, and then they took me really serious. And then they finally left. Well, I woke my husband up. I said, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. So we started our truck, and we ended up at the Vatican. Well, the Vatican wasn't open yet because by that time it was like 5:30 in the morning. So we went and got one of those little coffees, those the real strong espresso coffees that'll like knock you on the floor. And we got that. And then we went to the Vatican, and they would let me in, but they wouldn't let my husband in because he had shorts on. So I said, I'm not going in there by myself. This is a shared event. And so so he went back to the truck. He changed clothes in the truck, put the pants on, and we got into the Vatican. So we went to the Vatican. It was so cool being in the Vatican. Oh, Kenneth, that is amazing. And I love you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so my husband and I have shared 30 years of incredible memories. I could tell you the time that we got on the train and we'd gone from Bavaria, because we were living in Bavaria at that time. We were going back to Poland, and and this is really, this is a long time ago. Things have changed since then. We got on this train, and we had left like a really elaborate, beautiful electric train, and we had to switch trains at the border. We got on this old rickety train that took us into Poland in the dead of winter. It was an old rickety train. And I'll never forget standing at the train station. And we were hungry, and it was cold, bitter cold, and like zero. And my husband went and got us a wurst on a hard roll. And that was all, and a little bit of mustard to it. and it tasted so good. It tasted so good standing out there in the, the freezing cold. And so we got on the train, and we had a train car, but they put somebody else in a train car with us because it had 4 beds. And I wouldn't go to sleep because, you have your passport, you're holding onto your passport. You don't know the person. My husband fell asleep, so I stayed awake all night. Well, in the middle of the night, the train caught on fire. Somebody in another car had been smoking. So they had to halt the train in the middle of the night and stop it. It was smoke everywhere and everything. And they had to put the fire out. And here we're in the dead of winter, in the middle of nowhere, So we've had so many amazing, amazing times. And it's all on video, because just like you see my daily videos come up here and I'm on YouTube, I have 40 years because I started videotaping with my big VHS camera, with a big VHS tape in the early 80s. I remember when I was on the show, Match Game Hollywood Squares. It was a Match Game Hollywood Square hour. And it was like 1982. I've got the stuff. I had a brief part on a soap opera. I got all of that stuff, and it's just amazing journey. And then meeting my husband, all of that. The only time my camera broke right before I met my husband. And so I didn't get, when we took our first trip together, which was 2.5 weeks long, when he got back from around the world, he flew directly to see me. He didn't go back home. He flew directly to see me. If you haven't watched that video, it's called How I Met My Husband. Okay, Dianna, Brianne, Fairchild, How I Met My Husband. And I did a couple of them like that. And but I didn't have a video camera then. We didn't have phones like we do now. We didn't even have phones, to carry around. And but after we, got together, then we bought a camera, and then I started videotaping continuously. Red, I did too, right? I transferred mine in around 2001. We got one of those big DVD copiers that went from tape to video to DVD. And the problem is, Red, you know what? A lot of computers don't even have a built-in DVD player now. And it's even getting increasingly harder to buy DVD players in the store. So I bought me up several DVD players, so I would always have a DVD player to play our home videos. But yes, you want to transfer them over, because apparently on videotape, the quality begins to fade, whereas on DVD, it never fades, from my understanding. So, yes, we've been playing our favorite music, and I have, videos running constantly in Grandma's parlor, as I call it. But it faces our office. So, because we don't have time to sit down and watch the videos, there's a lot of wonderful videos. So I just put them on and I go, oh, hey, honey, come look at this. Do you remember this time or that time? I think the night before, I think we were in the one from when we first were together, like 30 years ago. We went to Rhode Island and we went through all that tour. Hey, Ellie Lee, it is always a pleasure to see you, my friend. I have not seen you for a long time, and it's wonderful, wonderful to see you. If you don't know Ellie Lee, just Ellie Lee, you will love her channel. She's a cooking channel, and she changed her name, and I think it used to be called Cooking with Ellie Lee. But she's just got an amazing channel. So please connect with Ellie Lee. Well, maybe I picked a good time then, Ellie Lee, because I didn't think 3 o'clock was a good time, because usually people are in transit at this time and they're not on YouTube. So that's maybe, you get different people at different times. And I normally come on my slot, what I call my slot. I mean, it's nobody's slot. I mean, it's free for all, for everybody. But I usually come on at 10. If I'm going to come on, I didn't come on last night. I came on yesterday. I might be on tonight. It depends on what my husband and I are doing, it just depends. But if I'm able to, I usually come on at 10 p.m. And I kind of feel comfortable with that time, because people know me at the 10 p.m. slot. And it's usually I've got everything that I needed to do during the day at that time done. Well, I hope they were talking good about you, Kenneth. I hope they were talking good about you. We all have faced that, Kenneth, all of us. You know what I do now? I'm going to tell you what I do. There's two things. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I used to do and now what I do. Okay, when I notice someone's talking about me or staring at me, I used to do this, and it means nothing. But oh, they get like, now you're thinking bad about them. I used to, it was just kind of my thing I made up, and I did. I would scratch my nose. Hey, John, welcome, welcome. But what I found is, even though it bothered them, it really wasn't, that wasn't promoting anything good. So what I do now, we all get stared at. And so when someone stares at me, you know what I do? I turn to them and I smile. Hello. That takes them so off guard. Hello. It takes them absolutely off guard. It really does. And you are being so genuinely nice. So that's what I do now. If someone's talking about me, yeah, John, I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore because it's sort of like saying, like, it's like, you know, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a bad gesture or anything like that. Hey, Linda, I have not seen you in forever either. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And so, but what I do is I simply turn to them instead of being uncomfortable thinking, oh, they're talking bad about me. No. So if they're talking bad about me, so what? I'm going to trick them and I'm going to smile at them and be nice. And that's what I do. I just give them a big smile. Hello, and they don't know what to do. Then they're ashamed of themselves for talking bad if that's what they were doing. But you know what? It happens to all of us, Kenneth. It happens to all of us. Okay, all of us. We can choose to remember the good or we can choose to remember the not good. Oh, I'll tell you, I had platinum blonde hair like Marilyn Monroe when I moved to Europe. Platinum blonde. And you can look back on some of my pictures, especially if you're on Facebook. I mean, totally platinum. And I had the Marilyn Monroe look. And when I moved to Europe, and we didn't have a car at that time, because our cars weren't there. So we had to go everywhere by bicycle. And when I was riding all around Europe on my bicycle with my little basket, people would just stare, just absolutely stare everywhere we went. They would just stare. And I would just smile. I would just smile, give them a big old smile. They don't know what to do when you smile. They just don't know what to do. So, yes, so we've been listening to our music and we've been, listening to our music and watching our home videos. It's just been wonderful from that perspective, and getting in touch with a lot of family and friends, things like that. So, but our weather, I could not ask for more beautiful weather. I could not ask for more beautiful weather right now. We are just having the most incredible, incredible weather. We really are. And I have my one son is out in the yard. He's doing some yard work for us. He did, like we have a lot of pine cones here that drop from the trees, and so we have a pine cone picker upper, and he goes out there and does the pine cones, for us. Makes a little extra money that way. And it's good for, the younger generation is so glued to their telephones and to their social media and to everything. And so it's good we try to keep our kids active and flowing and doing physical stuff so that they're not just looking at their phones all day, And so, yeah. And so that's pretty much what we've been doing, pretty much what we've been doing. Been eating extremely healthy. I did make a nice lunch today. I'm vegan, so I kind of pick around it, but I made a beautiful salad, with greens, all kinds of greens. And then my husband's not vegan, but he had, I fried in olive oil some chicken breast and diced it up and put that in the chicken, put that in the salad. And then I make my own dressing. Now, I don't use sugar. So I use stevia. And, nothing is going to ever taste as good as sugar. Okay, so you got to kind of get that out of your mind when you're eating healthy. Healthy eating takes adjustment. And, people say, well, I love sugar. Well, I do too. Okay, but I don't eat it. And so what I do, unless it's a birthday cake or something like that, someone's birthday cake. So what I do is I took olive oil, and I took apple cider vinegar, and I took stevia, and I took diced garlic, and I mixed it together, and I made my dressing like a vinaigrette that way. Now, my mother used to make it the same way, but she used to add sugar and salt. I don't use salt. I don't add salt. And so I made that as our dressing, and it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. Once you get used to stevia, you become used to it. Initially it takes a little adjustment, but it takes a little adjustment. And then I make our green juices, which today was celery juice. And the reason I use a lot of celery is it has the most liquid to it. You take something like spinach or kale. The problem with spinach and kale is if you juice it, you don't get a lot of juice. So when I use spinach or kale, I put it in the blender and add water. And so it becomes a very thick type of thing. My husband doesn't like that, but I'm fine with it. So I eat it with, by putting it in the blender. So that's how I juice it. And it's good. It's good. And so, I make my juice with the kale or the spinach, anything that doesn't have a lot of juice to it, I put it in the blender is what I do. So, but anyhow, yeah. Okay, so Passion for Art, you are going on at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Okay, now normally your slot is like 7:30, isn't it? Normally 7:30 p.m. Because usually I've seen you when you go on, it's usually 7:30. So 4:30 is a good time slot too. Now, Red, are you going to be going on? I don't know if you're still here, Red, or not, but are you going to be going on at all this week? I'm going to try to come on tonight if I can at 10. Yeah, I'm going to try to come on if I can at 10 o'clock. But if we're busy, I won't be on, and we've been doing a lot of stuff in the office. And like last night, we sat out on the porch. Oh, it was too beautiful not to be out there. So, if we're going to end up sitting on the porch, then I may be on, a little later, or I may not be on at all. It just depends, but we absolutely, we were out there last night, and we went out at 9 o'clock, and by the time we got in, it was midnight. It was wonderful just sitting out there, because our front porch, you all know Grandma's porch, but if you look back upon some of my other videos when I would put the beginning and ending, coming up the driveway and all that, it looks like something out of a fairy tale from our front porch. It looks like Goldilocks and the three bears are going to, come up the driveway any moment. So we sit out there, and it's just beautiful. And the stars were out last night, all of that. So, Red, you are going to go next Sunday, the 13th. What time, Red? Or have you picked a time yet? Red, if you can, make sure that you message me. So if nothing else, I can share it out. Okay. And I love your content. I love your devotionals. I love what you do on your channel. Your channel is amazing. I love the devotions. The devotions are wonderful. And Red, always remember, do it at your own pace. It's like I tell people, I normally come on between 2 and 4, and I normally come on at 10. But if I'm not here, don't worry about me. I just got preoccupied or busy, or I'm sitting on my front porch. Sometimes I'm just not, sometimes you need time out, or you've got, we all have in-person lives. And I mean, I have a very, very, very busy in-person life, but I enjoy coming on. So I come on when I can, and usually it's pretty often. But if not, it's okay too. Kenneth says, Red, I will be watching Red. I am looking forward to it. And, so, make it your way. Design. This is all about fun. People take their YouTube channel far too seriously. And, I came on here originally 11 years ago, but not public. It was only for my kids. And I did little 5-minute videos. So, so it'll be 10 p.m. Sunday night, right? So I'll try to remember that. I usually don't come on Sunday night, Red, unless if I come on, if you're going on 10 p.m., if I do come on, I'll try to come on at 9 p.m. And that way, anybody that comes on mine can come on over to yours. But I don't know if I'll be on Sunday nights. I usually take Sunday night off, but, it just depends. But, and the thing about it is, I was talking to Red and I was talking to Passion. I really want to kind of start something where, we kind of switch off and we kind of go, like, one is at 8, one is at 9, one is at 10, and then we can switch it around sometimes too, or 9, 10, and 11. So we, kind of, people who are on one person's channel, they may want to go to the next person's channel. That, that's how we help build our momentum on our channels. So yeah, so I'm going to try to come on tonight for a little bit if I can. Or unless I'm on my front porch. And if I'm on my front porch, I'm not going to be on. So we'll see. Red, never worry about it. This is a journey. And you know what? Oh, I was telling someone, who was I telling earlier about what happened to me? So I've been stuck at 16.5 for over a month. And I have grown in that month over 2,000. If you go back on my analytics, and they take them away. So every morning, if I gain 100, 150 in one day, they don't show up right away, but I can see that they're there, and then they take them back. So it's terrible. I don't know why they do it. Someone told me the other day, and I don't know whether it's true. I don't know whether it's true, but if the monetized channels, if they don't watch 90%, you won't get credit for it. So it's going to have, I don't know whether that's true. So I don't want to pass on false information, but I was told that they're looking at making it where they have to watch the majority, almost all of your video, or in order for you to get credit for it. So it's really something, so I gain all these new subscribers, and, looking at my analytics, and, when they told me I had 26,000 on December 5th of a year and a half ago, because I had a glitch on my channel, and I contacted them and about something else, and they said, oh yeah, you have 26,000. I said, I do? I said, I didn't know it. So we went to the analytics, and at that time it said 26,000. But then I said, where are they at? I only had like 12 at the time. And they said, well, we'll check into it. So they checked into it, got back to me about 2 days later and said, well, they were all spam. I said, how could they be spam? These are people that I go to regularly. They come to my channel regularly. These are real people. They're not bots. I said, I'm on their live streams. They're on my live streams. And yet as soon as they get unsubscribed, and we get unsubscribed to each other, they just didn't explain it. And so that's what happens. And I don't lose the new people. I lose my old friends. So like if I gain 10 new friends, I lose 10 old friends. Okay. So that's kind of how it works. And it's frustrating if you focus on the numbers. So I just gave up focusing on the numbers. And because the way my analytics should be, if that was 26,000 a year and a half ago, I know I'd be about 60, 70, 80,000 now. And it doesn't show up. They take them back. So it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. I'm happy to be here. And I just roll along because, I just make my content. I originally came up here for my kids, so they would have an easy access to my wisdom. They were 1-minute videos. They weren't really titled or tagged or anything, no thumbnails. And then 2 years ago, I came up publicly. And that was when my channel really, really took off and was building. And then suddenly, it went like the brakes went on and I couldn't grow. I mean, even though I was growing every day, I wasn't able to, the numbers weren't calculating. Well, Kenneth, you have an amazing dinner. I hope it's delicious. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And you can be, always just kind of keep an eye out for me at around 10 o'clock. I may or may not be on, but if I'm going to come on, that's usually about the time I come on. So, yeah. So I'm going to go too in a minute. This is just a short live here, a short pop on live to let y'all know I'm okay. And thank you, Kenneth. Thank you. And so I'm going to probably get off of here. I've got a lot to do today. And then I am going to, hopefully, maybe I'll see you all tonight if I come on. Okay. And if not, then I don't. Hey, James. Welcome, welcome. If y'all don't know James, Skype, please connect to James Skype. Okay. And so, yeah, I'm going to go out and make a little dinner. And I want to go see how my son is doing out in the yard because he's doing all the pine cones today. And then my other son will be home. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I just want to enjoy life, and I do take great care of my health. The most important thing you can do is take care of you and eat right. Make sure you get plenty of great sleep. Make sure you get the right kind of exercise. All of that is so, so important. So important. So, well, I thank you all for being here. Thank you. It was a short live, like I said, not a long live. So I might be on tonight. So may God bless you. Thank you for being here. And I hope to talk to you all soon again. Bye-bye.